What do you think you're doing? Want to fucking enjoy bananas? Her name? I mean, who could have foreseen this shit? I'm going to take the first 5 to 10 minutes of the stream to just talk about how fucking fantastic I am. Okay? So please be prepared for that. So let me do a little Mr. Producer. Let me get my bearings under me. Are you fucking kidding me? The gentlemen are bowled up to the tits. Who could have foreseen this? Okay? Again, I'm taking the first 5 minutes of the stream to just talk about how amazing I am and how well I had prepared the organization, the network, the winners inside of the Taylor's Code for this next move up, for the next leg of this bull run, to print millions of fucking dollars. I'm going to talk about how fantastic I am for doing that. And I'm going to show you how I did that. And then I'm going to show you what's going to happen moving forward in the markets. Big things are happening, okay? Everything we were talking about is starting to play out. It took time, took a couple of months, took a lot of downside, took a lot of patience, took a lot of hodling, a lot of positioning, but it's finally playing out. We're up multiple X's on all of our positions from the lows again, okay? Why were we able to call those things? Because of what I've been looking at for the past 3 or 4 months. We've been talking about global M2. Global M2. It doesn't matter. What does liquidity or other countries have to do with dumb shit I've heard? No, global liquidity fucking matters. M2 matters. Why? Why does global liquidity matter? Because if China's stimulating, if the European Union's stimulating, if Japan's stimulating, all these nations and their central banks are stimulating, injecting liquidity into markets, some of that liquidity is going to make it into equities. It's going to make it into crypto. Guess what? Crypto's a global market. Guess what? Equities, the S&P, NASDAQ, whatever you want to fucking call it, all that's global. Nations across the world inject liquidity into those markets. So just because the U.S. hasn't yet stimulated doesn't mean that the global MT going up doesn't mean anything. No, we called this. I've been talking about this for months. I said, look, global M2, it's rising. It's moving up. It's at all-time highs now. It's never been this high before. It's going to be a lagging move. It's a leading indicator. We're going to see that translate into markets. Guess what happened? That move on global M2 pumping to the upside. We said it's going to be a couple months leading. It's been a couple months leading for a while now. It's going to translate into a move to the upside in markets. Look what happened. We get the fucking pump finally. We're almost at new all-time highs on Bitcoin. Are you serious? This is what we've been fucking talking about. And people are losing their minds. Recession. It's over. Bro, we've been fucking calling this shit. This is why you have to be inside of a network and inside of a university like the Taylor's Code. People go to college, go to university for 4 years, spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a degree that means nothing, that earns them nothing, that doesn't really give them any real credibility in the real world, outside of the fact that they have a piece of paper that says they were able to follow orders for 4 years. Instead of doing that, if you would just join the Taylor's Code, if you would join a network of the ultimate professionals, learn how to make money, position yourself into crypto, get into a sales opportunity, be able to print money, you would put yourself in such a better financial situation than the traditional school system. It would be unbelievable. So let me show you how we called these moves in the markets. Okay, so pat yourself on the back for those of you inside the network who've positioned for this. Those of you who've been watching, pat yourselves on the back if you held through this, because we're going to fucking make millions of dollars on this next leg up. The people inside the network are making hundreds of thousands of dollars. So let's show them how we did it. So we're going to do extra scenes. I'm going to put this up. I'm going to go to screen capture. Okay, and we're going to take a look at the fucking charts here, Harry. Okay, you ready for this? Hold on. You do a little Mr. Producer. You see this? Okay, I'm going to pull back up the charts. All right, I'm going to hide this. Oops. I'm going to hide this. Let's take a look here. Okay, so it's been a little bit since we'd spoken last. Last time we spoke was on Monday or Tuesday of last week. All right, I was in Vegas. We're back from Vegas. We definitely spent a few dollars while we were in Vegas. But look what has happened since we've been talking about this on stream. Okay, so first thing we're going to look at is Bitcoin. We talked about how we lost this bull market trend. This is the false breakdown right here. This is where everybody shit themselves because we lost the bull market trend, which was this line right here. Okay, so if you go back to the bear market reaccumulation range, which was down in here, the originating move to the bull market started right here. And this is where the trend line started. Okay, we tagged it August 5th. We tagged it here as we were going through this range of death. Broke out, distributed, broke down out of that range. And that's whenever we came and tagged the line again. And then we had this false breakdown that basically was to get people to capitulate before this next leg higher. Okay, so we had this false breakdown, and we were saying that as soon as we reclaim this bull market trend, and just so happened to break this downtrend right here at the same exact time, look at the confluence. This is when I was saying inside of the Discord, okay, this is where you shove. This is where we're fucking bulled up to the tits again. This is where we're shoving, okay? And guess what happened? As soon as we reclaimed all of that, let me get rid of this fucking... As soon as we reclaimed and broke that downtrend, we start pumping, okay? And then why was I saying on a macro basis we should stay bullish? And why I believe that there's going to be this next huge pump in crypto. I've been saying this for months. Look at this. Global M2, global liquidity, okay? What's going on with this? It's a leading indicator. So as the global liquidity goes up, markets go up, okay? So if you take a look at global M2, let's even do it like this, okay? So you pretty much get the sideways price action here, right? You pump up here, and then following crypto will pump up. Then we get sideways in M2. It moves sideways. Well, guess what happens here? Crypto, equities, those sorts of things move sideways. Finally, you have M2, global liquidity, move up starting here, top out here, okay? So that's from June to September over the course of a couple of months. And then this move on global M2 as the global liquidity supply moved up, more money is available, okay? Then you get that blast off move in crypto, okay? It's a leading indicator. So when you see this now moving down, the bottom, let's call it, over here before we start moving up again. Now we had this period where we moved down. This then led this move right here where we moved down, okay? So it's a leading indicator. Liquidity goes down, so the markets, okay? But then what happened here? You've been moving up since January 25. We've been moving up, and we've been tracking this. I've been talking about this on stream for months. You can go back and look at the tape. Global M2 has been moving up steadily since the beginning of the year. Why? Because China's stimulating. This is also why Trump imposed tariffs on China in the time frame that they did, because they knew China was vulnerable. They were going through their own economic depression. People don't talk about this. The media doesn't tell you the truth. Don't listen to the fucking media. No, what was actually happening? The people behind the tariffs, the people behind the markets, the way that they're working, Scott Bessent, the individual that Trump has in place to handle these sorts of things, these guys are geniuses. These guys have made people multi-billions of dollars in markets before. They understand what they're doing. They imposed tariffs on China when they were at their weakest so that they had they had leverage in terms of negotiating. Then you see this past weekend, just yesterday, they came to an agreement with China on trade, right? China, we're not negotiating with the U.S. We're not going to be puffing their chest, trying to make it seem like they're stronger than they are. Come to find out, they make a deal this weekend with U.S. Why? Because they had to. The U.S. had leverage. Trump is the master negotiator, the master deal maker. He understands what the fuck they're doing. So what had happened is, China was stimulating. The U.S. now, just recently starting to stimulate. The European Union starting to stimulate, right? Liquidity is going up. So if Bitcoin from global M2 topping out right here was able to go to new all-time highs, so it was right here, right? That's where it topped, right? Bitcoin was able to go up to 107,000, 108,000. Well, if global M2 gets back up above where that was and then higher to new all-time highs, then for me, I'm saying, okay, we're getting rate cuts to come. If the trade war subsides, if markets start to relax themselves in terms of the uncertainty that was created by the tariffs, then I don't understand why if M2 is going up higher than where it previously was here for this all-time high on Bitcoin, then to me that means we're getting the next leg up on Bitcoin. Next leg up being 2 price targets. Well, we'll put that in the Discord. You want price targets? You want to know whenever we're fucking buying, selling? Okay, well, we'll see you inside the Discord. But the next leg up is happening on Bitcoin. Okay, that's my thesis on a larger term basis. Locally, we're due for a little pullback. Okay, we could keep ripping potentially this week as possible, but locally we're due for a pullback. But on a macro sense, in terms of the cycle continuing, I still am under the impression that the cycle continues. We get one more leg up higher, and it's going to be in a fucking explosive leg. And this is going to be the leg where you finally see your alt season, when you finally see ETH BTC pump, where you finally see these altcoins go to, multi-10, deca-billion-dollar valuations, potential $100 billion valuations, like a Pepe or a Dogecoin. This is the part of the cycle where you see that, because you're going to finally see that rotation from, you're finally going to see that rotation from Bitcoin into things like Ethereum, where you're going to start to see ETH BTC, hopefully, start making a move like this, where it did right here, except over here, right? This is the part of that cycle, okay? But M2 is at new all-time highs. So if I see M2 at new all-time highs, that's telling me, okay, I'm liking what I'm seeing, okay? But we've been talking about this. This is what I've been fucking saying. So M2's at all-time highs. I see new all-time highs on Bitcoin. There you go. All right, so let's get that out of there. So global M2's leading indicator. All right. So let's just take a look at RSI quickly, just so that you understand why I'm saying potential local pullback here. So on the daily time frame, Bitcoin is overbought. Now, we in the past have come up higher in the overbought territory than where we're at right now. Okay. Same here. Same here. Okay. So basically what I'm saying is, potentially, you get a little bit higher this week. Maybe you tag all-time highs or make new all-time highs this week, possibly. That's definitely possible based on the RSI. But you're definitely close to a local pullback or potential take-profit zone. Okay, now that's on the daily time frame. Here's where the bull market continues, though. On a higher time frame, though, so over the course of the next month or two, though, I certainly see Bitcoin going higher, okay? As long as we're not, actually this was just the exit pump into a bear market, because that's always a possibility. It could be an exit pump into a bear market. But, I mean, for us to go this close back up to all-time highs, I don't see that being the case. So, this quickly. RSI on the weekly, we were way overbought up in here in this pump in March before we went into this massive reaccumulation range. And we also went way up into overbought over here in this pump, okay? We have yet to become overbought on the weekly on Bitcoin, okay? So also over here, so you see in the past where we've gone. So this to me tells me we still got room, we still got space on Bitcoin to go up higher, okay? On the weekly, same thing with Ethereum. Ethereum on the weekly, we have plenty of room to get into overbought territory. Plenty of room. Okay, you see where we've been in the past. Last bull run, okay, we went way deep into overbought. right here, the first pump back in March 2024, big first run up, definitely got into overbought. Here, we got up into this region. We didn't even break out above to tag 4,000. So same thing here. There's no, ETH has plenty of room. This is also why you see this huge rotation into Ethereum starting to happen. Why? Because when you look at the RSI on Bitcoin and how much more room you have for upside, what people do is they say, okay, as we're moving up into these overbought territories, this is whenever you see the rotation down the risk curve into other altcoins. That's whenever you see ETH BTC pump, you see Sol BTC pump. These other altcoins will start to move faster than Bitcoin for one of two reasons. One, because the market caps are smaller. But number two, people are rotating profits. That wealth effect that's taken place on Bitcoin is going to have people rotate money down into the lower risk assets. So when somebody sees this RSI on the weekly on Bitcoin, they say, okay, well, there's more room for upside, right? There's more room for upside on something like Ethereum because it's just barely now passing the 50 mark when Bitcoin's already at 64, right? Pushing up towards 70. So this is where people see that rotation being worthwhile. And that's why you see this ETH BTC starting to outperform. Why? Because Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin this last 2 weeks. Okay. So that's what I'm seeing on the RSI, just to give you an idea. So on the daily time frame, more locally, okay, potential for a pullback, very near time frame. Same thing with Ethereum. If you go on the daily, yeah, Ethereum super overbought, right? So you might see a little trickle down into this region, like right here, 2,200 probably would be the lowest, cover, yeah, like right in here. This little group of candles. Probably see a little pullback back into here, 2,200, 2,221, and then back up if we get the local pullback. Okay, could just bull chop up here too. So that's what I'm seeing on Bitcoin and ETH, right? Global liquidity is at all-time highs. Love that. Going to see the rotation into altcoins. Love that. So let's close this up. Let's take a look at others, okay? So this is something else that we want to talk about. We talked about this on Tuesday last week, I believe, but I just want to talk about it one more time. So this was the others chart that I've been following very closely over the course of the last month or so, okay? Let's put on the weekly. So this others chart, this is others, so total market cap of crypto excluding the top 10 assets. So excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, BNB, etc., Doge. The top 10 cryptos in the world, we're excluding their market caps, and this is the chart tracking the rest. That is going to be what? Altcoins. This is the altcoin, alt season, another indicator, right? Whenever this chart is pumping, that's whenever altcoins, meme coins, etc. are pumping. So I really want to take a look at what I'm seeing on a larger time frame here with the potential. So you come in last bull run, and this is whenever you have this gigantic alt season because you came in from here. Look, basically non-existent from last bull run. Right, 17-18, right? This 17-18 cycle was all about Bitcoin. Come down to this bear market, and then look at what you get on altcoins. This is why people became multi-millionaires last cycle because of his move. I mean, from March of 20 up to the Pico top, I mean, you're up 56, 60x, $1,000 into $60,000. Right, 100,000 into 6 million. So outrageous, right? Or even more than that. So outrageous. Basically, this was just an enormous move on altcoins. Okay, and what it did was it created this range up in here. Okay, and the reason the range played is because during the bear market, this is where we bottomed out at. Okay, so you created this 4-year reaccumulation range. And you notice that this altcoin chart plays, if we do it on a lower time frame, plays a certain way. So it plays these down trends pretty well. That one's not going to be great. Let's see. Because that one went to a bear market. Yeah. So that one's not going to be great to look at. Let me try this one. I'm trying to show you how this altcoin indicator plays. So you see a lot whenever these downtrends break on this chart. That's whenever you get the pumps to take place. You can do it like that. Whenever these downtrends break, that's a pretty good indication that this chart's going to rip, okay? And every time we've ripped since 4 years ago, we've been coming up into this $425, $430 billion range, okay? So this cycle, this is what we've been building over here. This is what's been developing. So you get this first huge run up from the bear market up into March 24, okay? So cool. This is where we first topped out. This is whenever Pepe did his first 10x, huge 10x. From a couple hundred mil to a couple billion. So we create this downtrend that we keep tagging. All right. We get this move on August 5th. People capitulate. We come back up. We kind of range a little bit longer. Break the downtrend. Come back, retag it. One last shakeout. Bang. Right up to the top. To this $430 billion market cap. 450 here. So we keep getting suppressed by this range up here, okay? We keep getting suppressed by it. This is important because the fact that we haven't broken out of this 4-year range yet, but Bitcoin has, Ethereum has not broken out of its, Solana has not broken out of its, meaning that Ethereum and Solana have not seen price discovery yet this cycle. Think about that. Solana, Ethereum, BNB, Dogecoin, all of the major cryptos, not a single one of them has seen major price discovery yet of the OG coins, the coins that are important for new all-time highs. None of them have seen price discovery except for Bitcoin. Not even this chart, this others chart, the alt season, the altcoin chart has seen price discovery yet. That's how you know the market has not had the blow off top, super heated up cycle, except like it hasn't happened yet. It still has not happened. Price discovery, new all-time highs is whenever you say, okay, market's topped, okay? That's when you can start to say that. So breakdown, okay, we break this downtrend and that was the progression for the next move up, okay? Now, what's important about this downtrend is this one was much more aggressive to the downside this time. So we tag. We finally break it. And this is what I was saying. We were down in here, right? We were down in here before this move happened. And inside of the Discord, all the guys in there will tell you, I was saying down in here. And when we came back up and pressed against this downtrend, I said, this is where you buy. Buy. Because as soon as we break this downtrend, we're going to start fucking pumping. And guess what happens? As soon as we break the downtrend, what happens? Pump up to the mid-range. Perfect suppression at the mid-range. Who could have foreseen this? Slight pullback. Bang. Pump up. Okay? So now that we've seen this move and we broke out from the mid-range, you assume that as long as the mid-range holds as support, we're going to get this move back to the upside. Okay? So I'm expecting altcoins. This is why I had this little pullback right here. You're probably going to have something like this where you draw back down into the mid-range, right? You're going to tag it, turn it in from resistance into support. This is your shove again. You want another place to be shoving at? This is where you shove again. Bang, you get this move to the upside. And it's explosive every time. You see, as soon as we break up, we break the mid-range, we come back down, we retest it. Right, retest it a couple times here, and then it's pretty much straight up. You break it, do this little quick retest wick down here, you pump up. it's an explosive move. Once it starts going, it's going, right? That's what's so sexy about holding altcoins is that whenever they do rip, they fucking rip hard. Boom, explosive. So we're moving now. So now we're starting to move. Probably get this little boom right here, and then it's explosive to the upside. Now here's the difference this time. On this move, as long as the this heat up continues to happen, or Bitcoin goes to new all-time highs, you finally see ETH BTC start to pump. You finally see this last rotation of big capital down into crypto. This is when you're going to see the break of this range. And you're going to see a move up in here. This is your alt season. You get to this 1.618 fib, this $645 billion market cap. That's your alt season this cycle. That's whenever you see the absolutely outrageous price action on altcoins. Because eventually this 4-year range is going to break. It will break. So if you're riding it from down here up there, that's whenever you're going to see the multiple, the multi-millionaires just get printed. So that's the other chart. That's where we're at with that. Understanding why we're tracking this. Makes sense? Okay, good. So ETH BTC. Let's look at this quickly. All right, so this is important to be taking a look at. And I'm going to jump into the boys club. I'm going to jump into some meme coins. So we had this final capitulation on ETH BTC on the way down. We basically came back into this demand zone, okay? Right in here. So basically, last cycle's bear market, we pretty much retraced the entire move on ETH BTC, okay? So if there was a time to bottom, this would have been the time to do it. And it looks like it. Now, we've had other huge pumps before, right? Like right in here during the bear market, which is fine. We've had other big candles. Boom, 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 right? So we've had these big candle moves up. So this is not necessarily just right here, this one candle, a confirmation that, okay, ETH BTC is about to rally all seasons on. But I'm confident if it was going to turn around, it would be down in this region. Because it has not been lower than this demand zone since, look, this is a point of confluence here. This was big demand building up here, consolidation. We lost it in January of 2017, so almost 10 years ago. It's been 10 years since ETH BTC was lower than this mark, okay? 10 years ago. And then we pumped hard, right? And then, reaccumulate back in here, which makes sense because look, there's a consolidation here. This is where the consolidation happened again in the bear market for this pair. So we come back down and we finally come into this demand zone. And we start moving out of it. So again, I'm under the impression that this down in here would be where the bottoming takes place. This is whenever you really want to start holding ETH beta. Because if ETH BTC starts to outperform and Ethereum starts outperforming Bitcoin, you're going to see people rotate a shit ton of capital into Ethereum, therefore pumping the price of ETH, therefore pumping the price of all the beta on Ethereum. Also, with the ETH beta, I was going to say, and ETH is also having a lot of upgrades come on chain, and you're going to start to see the bullish news come out on ETH because now they're applying for the staking on Ethereum, meaning that you can hold the ETF. So there's a Bitcoin ETF, there's an ETH ETF. What's the incentive to bid the ETH ETF over the Bitcoin ETF? Right now, there's not necessarily one. But when they introduce the staking component to the ETH ETF, and you can buy that, and then you can earn a yield on it, you're going to see tons of liquidity flow into those ETFs, pumping the price, okay? So ETH also has bullish catalysts coming down the road after the sentiment being so bad and everybody being so upset about it, okay? So, so hit 30-day high, boom, 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 beautiful. So you're going to see ETH get a shit ton of liquidity shift into that asset. This, therefore, doing something like this. If we can even just get ETH BTC to pump up into here, this little exit pump, even if it's just that, you have no idea what that's going to do for your assets. Because it's been in a perpetual downtrend this entire cycle. You've been fighting this chart this entire cycle, and still Pepe, still Brett, Andy, Wolf have been outperforming to the upside over Bitcoin. Still they have. But now imagine you're actually getting the tailwind of a pump over here where you're going to see big capital, big liquidity rotate into Ethereum, into the ecosystem. You're not prepared. The only problem you're going to have is you're going to wish that you had bought more. That's the only problem. So that's ETH BTC. Likely this would be the bottoming range for this. So good there. Pepe, let's look at Pepe. Inside the fibs. Okay. So I got this in log mode. Look at what Pepe has done. Already back up into this region. Okay. Here's what's going to be scary about Pepe. Once we break this level right in here, you're going to see new all-time highs on Pepe very soon. This is going to be the run to about 40, $50 billion market cap. Okay? You're about to see a rip on Pepe that's going to absolutely fucking blow your mind. So let's actually look at RSI here. Okay, on the daily, 2-day, it's a bit overbought. Yep. Look at this. Looking on the weekly, though. So over here, February 24, this is whenever Pepe pulled that 10x. So just by holding Pepe, you would have ripped a 10x up here. This was even more than that. So 11, 12x from the Pico low here. Just off of this move, Pepe ran a 10x from like $200 million market cap, ran up a 10x to a couple billion. So just by holding it, you hit a 10x. If you held it up over to here, that's 18, 19x. So 1,000 into 20,000. Fucking stupid move, right? This is how overbought Pepe got on the weekly time frame. Let's see what it looked like on the daily. Here's it on the daily, right? That's how overbought it was able to get on the RSI. So you go over here to the weekly. Look where we're at on the weekly over here. It's not even close. It's not even close to heated up yet. Okay? So if this is going to be the move on Pepe, you're going to see Pepe rip to 50 bill plus. Okay? Conservatively. So let's look at it from over here, right? So this is March 2024. Okay, this is the past year. This is the all-time high now. Off of the lows on Pepe, if you were positioning with us inside the Discord and reaccumulating, you're already up 150, 160%. Almost from the high, 3x. 3x off the lows just on Pepe, okay? It's just starting to heat up. If you look at Pepe, every time it's come into this region over here, which we've drawn out, this is a max bid zone. Anything down in here, max bid. You come into here, you bid. Anything in this demand zone, you bid because we come up higher. Okay? So if we get ETH BTC to start ripping, you're going to see this chart look like this. Let's look at it like this. Okay. You're going to be looking at this chart like this. Up into there. Okay. This over here on the left is going to be this. Moved over, and then you're going to see this huge pump. Okay. That's coming on Pepe. How do we know that? Well, let's take a look at some fibs. This is a pretty clear range over here. Okay. So you look at Pepe. This is clearly the range, right? Bottom of the range. Been tagging a couple of times. This should have been obvious, and it was. I told you about this. We talked about this on stream. This is why you can't be afraid. We tag the bottom of the range, tag the bottom of the range again, double bottom. So as Ethereum was making a lower low, Pepe at the same time made a higher low. Okay? The divergence there should have told you, okay, altcoins are getting bid. The appetite for risk is going up. Oh shit, I better start bidding fucking Pepe because this is about to get a meat stick. But who could have foreseen it? And there it is. Double bottom, right at the bottom of the range. I should have told you, bid, bid, boom. You see this move, okay? If you get ETH BTC pumping, you get ETH even close to its previous cycle all-time highs, you're going to get up in here. This is the fib you're going to get. So you're going to get this. Whoops. At least up into there. At least. Okay? That's what the chart's going to look like. See that? So even if you get this little move back down into here, retest this mid-range, very possible, and you're up. Okay? And I'm telling you, this shit's going to play out just as we've been talking for however long. Because look, down here, during August, you get this nuke down into this exact this exact bottom of the range again. Okay? And then you get this move. Break out to the 1.618. Okay? So this re-entered after hitting the 1.618, re-entered the 1, right? So it's support here. This was support, this previous high, all-time high. Break down into the range. As soon as you break down back into the range, the same way where when you break back into a range from the underside, you expect range highs again. Well, when you break back down into a range from the upside, you expect range lows again. It goes both ways, right? From underneath, you expect range highs. From above, you expect range lows. So that's what happened. You break back into the range. You tag the mid-range, you get a little bounce. Range lows. Okay. Range lows, well, we're pumping again. I'm going to expect range highs. But if we get range highs, I'm expecting a breakout to the 1.618 at the least again. But I say new all-time highs. Okay? So that's Pepe. Let's look at Brett. Brett's been performing incredibly well. Okay? So Pepe's up 1.5 or 2.5 to 3x off of lows. Brett, same thing. Look, bottom of the range, almost broke down. A little fake out, right? Here's the 1. Brett still has not broken out of this reaccumulation range from March of 24, okay? Important. Why? Important because Pepe did. Brett hasn't. So Brett still has this move up to $30 billion market cap. No. That's 2. This is 3. So $3 billion market cap. And this is not even in log mode. During a true bull market, you're looking at it like this. And I showed you. 6.3 bill. Whoops. And then $43 billion market cap. In a true bull market, this is where you're going to see Brett go to. 6.3 billion from right now it's at 800 million. So it's only it's almost a 10x on Brett from here. From here. Pre, is your mic connected? Sounds different than usual. That's a great fucking point, Bobby. Let's take a look. Probably wasn't. How about now? It probably wasn't connected. Oh, look at that. Almost 30 viewers across all platforms. How's the mic sound now? Better? Okay. So let me pull this back up. So on Brett, I'm looking at about a 10x from here up to the 1.618 on the log mode. But if you take log off and you look at these fibs on a linear basis, so you want to be super conservative, Brett goes to Brett goes from an $830 million market cap where it's at right now, which is cheap, $800 million market cap. You go up to 3 billion, 3 billion. Okay. Super conservative estimation is 3 billion. Much higher though. I believe much higher. Pepe goes to 50 billion. Brett goes at least to 6 to 10 billion. Okay. But off the lows, just to make the point, because again, we're reaccumulating inside of the Discord. We've been talking about this. Off the lows, even if you just want to call the bottom of the range, just because let's not act like we're going to get the very low every time. Look at that, 3x. So Pepe's up 2.5x. Brett's up 3x from the lows. If you were really a sniper, almost 4x. But we'll call it 3x just to be fair. Bottom of the range, because you typically bid the bottom of the range. So 3x, a little bit over a 3x on Brett. Brett, from where it's at right now up to range highs, even if you only think we can get back to range highs and then we go into a bear market, we reject and shit ourselves, you're still looking at another over a 2x. So if you buy right now, it's in the 2x you get on your money. Up to here, the first fib would be 3.5x. Okay? 3.5x up to the 1.618. Great. So that's where we're looking at on Brett. Let's take a look at Andy. Okay. Look at this. We're already fucking charting it up a bit with Andy. What we got here? Okay. Andy was also very scary hold because we lost the bottom of the range here. Okay. False breakdown. Got saved right here. Rejected again and then got saved. Off of the lows from where we've been buying. Look at that, 3.5x. If you want to really go from Pico lows to Pico high, 4x. But really more in here to where we're at right now. So 3x to where we're at right now. 3x off the lows on all the boys club. 3x your bags. Okay? That's significant. 3x your money, 3 times your money is fucking significant within a couple of weeks. So another beautiful thing with Andy as well, same as Brett. Pepe and Wolf, out of the 4 boys club members, Pepe and Wolf are the only ones who have hit the 1.618 so far on their fibs. They're the only ones that have broken out of their reaccumulation range. Andy and Brett have not. So again, Andy, you're going to see a move. I am under the impression that it's going to go to this 2.618, whatever Pepe runs to the $50 billion market cap zone. So up in here. But worst case, even if we come here, let's see who's texting me. Hold on. All right, I gotta go. Important call coming. So even if we only hit the 1.618, you're still hitting new all-time highs on Andy, and that's another boom, 5.5x, 6x your money, 6x your money on Andy from here. Not bad. So everything else, if you want more price targets, if you want Wolf, if you want TA on anything, if you want TA on Fartcoin, if you want TA on any of the other major assets that are running, GOAT right now is running. I hold a big bag of GOAT. I bought GOAT at $5 million market cap, the AI coin, the first AI agent. Then get inside the Discord. Link is in the description. Join as a professional. Join as a gentleman. Take your choice. Join as a gentleman if you want to get access to the private crypto plays, which is my portfolio, when I'm buying, when I'm selling, individual TA with you. I work through your portfolio with you. We'll get on live calls inside the Discord. We'll work together. So basically get access to everything in there. Outside of that, gentlemen, I got to get out of here because I got an important call coming in. So let's do stream ending, Mr. Producer. Abrupt ending. All right, boys. Like, comment, subscribe. Fucking show the love. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go make a couple million this next leg up.